Hello and welcome back to War Thunder and some Yak 23 gameplay. The Yak 23 is a bit of a strange beast when it comes to jet aircraft. It's not a MiG, doesn't have massive wings, it's not got an afterburner like the F-11s and a bunch of American jets, and it's actually far from a good jet. In fact, it's probably a shit jet. It's just a few people are really good at it, myself included. Most of the BR that the Yak 23 sits in doesn't really lend itself to be fantastic for the aircraft. It used to sit down at 7.3 and 7.7 as little as 4 years ago, maybe even 5 years ago if I remember correctly. But now it sits at a vastly vertigo-induced ceiling of 8.7. Excuse me, I'm busy dying of COVID. Well, for all intents and purposes, it really shouldn't be up. For all intents and purposes, it really shouldn't be up here. Um, but you know, this is what we have, and yeah. But it does fill a niche at this BR. It's an absolutely tiny jet. It's an engine with a seat and a bunch of like rudders and shit strapped on. It's as Kerbal Space Program as War Thunder ever gets. Um, it's got really good 23s and the stealth belts are AT. Shut up. Not you, the phone. And while the niche isn't filled by any other Russian vehicle at this BR. Hell, I don't think it's filled by any other vehicle at this BR. Maybe Sagittario, but that doesn't really count. That's at 9.3-ish, I think. On a map front, this is Korea, one of the best maps War Thunder has ever had. And right now I'm flying down Meg Alley, where us old MiG players used to rush down here to get a flank on, and we'd meet Phantom players right about here. Now I see two F9Fs and an A4A. And since shut up, phone. Go away. And he yeet my phone at the wall. Yeah, but the spotting system won't be picking me up because I'm coming from both to the rear and from below. And there's a Sabre up above me. Now on the Sabre front, I remember the days when it was MiG-15s versus Sabres, and oh my god, it was so good. If I could go back to that just for a day, I'd do almost anything for that. Now you're about to see an F9F spot me and start turning, but because of my speed and the Yak 23's horrible elevator deflection, I can't get my crosshairs on it. I mean, yeah, I'm almost in perfect position, but he just turns out the way just at the last second. And I start turn fighting before heading into a vertical and flipping the axis so my pilot is pulling G's on the opposite side of the plane so it doesn't black out and render me vulnerable to the entire enemy team because I can't maneuver the fucking plane. And I see the 262 with a Sabre on him. So I switch targets onto the Sabre, get a couple hits. Don't really do too well, but you know, a hit's a hit. And yeah. At this BR, in the Yak 23 specifically, and a lot of vehicles at this BR, you really have to turn your target fixation off. You have to keep your head always on the swivel, and you have to use every single bit of your plane. You have to squeeze everything out of it, which is why I'm at 112% throttle. Which is this plane's version of an afterburner, which I don't know why, but yeah, you see my little tactic of avoiding G-lock. Yeah, so if you see an opportunity to save a friendly, you absolutely have to take it, because you need everyone. Almost get a hit in that A4. But you can see I'm using a lot of the C key as well as various other things. Also miss that F9 almost immediately, and then there's the magic of the 23s. They set fires like matches to napalm, and it's great. Yeah, dude. The Yak 23 is just a special plane. Um, now the Yak 23 is unexpectedly maneuverable. Like, you you don't expect it to be this maneuverable at medium speed. And it just works. You're not really using jet fighter tactics, you're more using the tactics and skills you build up using P-47s, P-51s, and Lalas, and really prop aircraft rather than jet aircraft. The only downside is you have fuck all ammunition because, you know, you're a Russian plane. And, yeah, you're not fantastic, you're not great, you have to cool off your engine quite a lot. But you're great as an underdog plane. And you just tear things apart. It's great. Now I'm going to skip ahead of it, as I'm out of ammo, and in the Yak 23 there's no point in even attempting to engage something with less than 20 shells, because you need at least like 15 to get any hits on. Now, during the skip, our IL-28-ish was killed by an F-11, and I asked the MiG-17 to drag the F-11 down into dogfight so I could pick him off, as the F-11 is up here at an altitude where my engine loses a lot of its performance. Now with the F-11, he was running from us, so I decided to entice him by saying hi and then falling him into a vertical, almost getting a couple hits on as he dives past the MiG-15 who's come to back me up. But now I'm on his tail, and the MiG-15 in a second is my backup, so I'm about to get a wee bit of a crit at some point. But yeah, you don't see this a lot because you don't see Yak 23s because they're looked at as stupid planes because they're so incredibly hard to use correctly. I've got a wee crit on that tail, got a hit, the crit's there, it's on his tail. And I turn back out. And he's gonna send a missile my way. But because it's an early missile, I can pretty easily dodge it by pulling up. But if I hadn't been looking at him, that would have been disastrous. And that would have been my end of my time. Now I'm gonna distance myself so the MiG-17 can drag his energy even more than I've been able to. But this puts me in the best possible position against the F-11. And you see him and the MiG. You can see him and the MiG just duking it out a bit over there. Being bros, you know? And I'm actually terrible at this. It's been a long time. It's been 4.5 years since I did any of this. But, you know, the Yak, it doesn't have great vertical turning, especially at speed. It's much better when it's slow. But now the MiG's put the F-11 into the most vulnerable point he's been at, other than when he was at the top of his vertical. And with a short burst, he's going to be dead. And that's the magic of the Yak 23. It's not really tactics that you're doing. You're painting. You're making art just by flying the Yak 23 because it's that hard. The last enemy is a Canberra who's about to take off again. And I am going to skip forward to that because it takes like another 5.5 minutes. And I'm not going to be commenting on that because, you know, it's just a short little nice encounter where, well, you'll find out. But there's going to be some music over it. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to try and make more of this because it's what I enjoy. If you too fly the Yak 23, leave a comment with how you use it. And maybe leave a comment about how I can make this shit better. Join me next time when I kill some ASU-57s or something. Bye.
Bye.